Good evening, Facebook, YouTube, Daily Motion, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your third and final video blog of the night for Sunday, January 25th, 2015 at 8:17 p.m. in Belleville, Massachusetts. About 25 degrees. It's going to be cold tonight. Going to get down to single digits around the Merrimack Valley area. Tomorrow's going to be cloudy, and the snow starts around 2 to 4 p.m. Ramps up by this time tomorrow night, and then heavy-duty snow for Tuesday. Blizzard conditions, 24 to 36 inches around New England. Blizzard warning. Nobody's going to be going outside on Tuesday unless if you're a snow plower or a emergency person or the newscasters, because they're going to order everybody to stay in just for their safety, because this is potentially a dangerous and life-threatening storm. Nobody should be out in a blizzard at all, period. And I hope nobody loses power for this blizzard, but there's going to be heavy winds with it, and there's a possibility, so hopefully nobody loses power. Some news to report: the Vermont Catamounts beat the UMass Lowell men's basketball team by the score of 61-50 today. The NHL All-Star Game happened in Columbus today. Team Toyas defeated Team Foligno by a score of 17-12. 29 goals were scored in the game. Hardly any defense. They don't have defenses played, or the goaltenders don't play good in the NHL All-Star Game. It's a lot of scoring offense, and ESPN.com says the Pro Bowl will be fun to watch. And that's about it on that. My third and final video blog subject of the night is about my personality profile. My personality profile tonight is about one of the most famous baseball players ever, and he recently passed away a couple of days ago. I'm talking about Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub and Mr. Sunshine. Ernie Banks was a shortstop first baseman for the Chicago Cubs for 19 seasons. He was one of the best players in Major League Baseball history. Ernie was born and he grew up in Dallas, Texas, and he was not that interested in baseball while growing up. His father was actually a semi-professional baseball player. Ernie was more interested in swimming and football and basketball and track and field than baseball. And he played those sports in high school, and he actually played slow pitch softball for a church league team during the summer months, because his high school did not have any baseball. And Ernie played like pitcher and shortstop and for the softball team. And in 1950, Ernie signed with the Kansas City Monarchs of the Negro Leagues, and he only made $7 a day. He played for the Kansas City Monarchs for a couple of seasons, and he was also in the U.S. Navy for a year or two as well. In 1953, Ernie Banks signed a deal with the Chicago Cubs, and he made his major league debut on September 17, 1953, and Ernie was the first African-American player in Cubs history. He did not spend one day in the minor leagues, and for the next 19 seasons, Ernie Banks was a superstar player for the Cubs, and he had a lot of great stats. 14 times he was an All-Star, 2 times he was a National League MVP. He won it back-to-back 1958 and 1959. He was the first Major League Baseball player ever to win a Most Valuable Player award for a losing team. The Cubs were not a good team. They were a second division team during this time. And he 2 times led the National League in home runs. 2 times he led the National League in RBIs. 13 times he had 20 home runs or more home run seasons. 8 times 100 and RBI seasons. And he played his first 9 seasons as shortstop, but he got injured and he moved to first base, and he was pretty good as a first baseman. If he stayed healthy, if he didn't get injured, he would have probably been the best shortstop in Major League Baseball history. And Ernie Banks played very good for the Cubs, even though they continued to be very poor, and he never asked for a trade to another team because he loves Chicago. He was part of the Chicago community and stuff, and he was real popular. He almost got a chance to get a postseason berth in 1969 because the Cubs were leading the division into August, but they fell to second place by the surging New York Mets. And Ernie Banks retired after the 1971 season. He had career stats: a 274 average, 512 home runs, 1,636 RBIs, and 2,583 hits. And Ernie Banks holds the distinction of playing the most Major League Baseball games in history without making one postseason appearance: 2,528 games. That's a lot of games, and he didn't make the postseason because back then only one team made the postseason during most of his Major League career. If you won the pennant, you would play in the World Series, and the final 3 years of his career they had the League Championship Series because they divided into like Eastern and Western divisions. But Ernie did not get a chance to participate in the postseason. 1969 was the serious chance he had. And Ernie Banks' famous quote is, "Fresh air, sunshine, let's play too." That's his most famous quote. And Ernie Banks was a first ballot Baseball Hall of Famer in 1977. He became the first Chicago Cub to have his number retired, number 14, in 1982, and he was named to the Major League Baseball's All-Century team in 1999. There's a statue of Ernie Banks up near like Wrigley Field. After he retired, he was part of Chicago for many, many years. Was like a big alumni of the Cubs and stuff. He was a very big supporter. He tried to buy the Cubs a couple of times with groups of people, and he remained a part of the Chicago Cubs community and the Chicago community until his death. He won the Presidential Medal Freedom Award in 2013, and he was his great nephew, A.C. Law, used to play in the NBA for a few years. And Ernie Banks was probably the best baseball player in Chicago Cubs history. He wasn't a, even though he was a superstar player, he never acted like a superstar player at all. He was down to earth and stuff, and he never requested a trade, which, many players who are stars of their team, if the team sucks, have a losing record, they'll ask for a trade, but he never did, which you gotta give props to that for him. And that's about it on Ernie Banks. I'll be back tomorrow, Facebook friends and YouTube followers, with 3 more video blogs. I'm going to be talking about stuff. I'm not going to say what it is until my final video, my final post of the night on Facebook. And there won't be top 10 list tomorrow because that's taking a day off. Tuesday, it's going to be the top 10 greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. And then Wednesday, the top 10 masked wrestlers of all time. Thursday will be the top 10 San Diego Padres players of all time. And Friday is going to be the top 10 San Diego Padres pitchers of all time. And then don't forget Facebook friends and YouTube followers and Daily Motion followers and Twitter followers. In 7 more days, all my video blogs, personality profiles for the month of February will be about some famous African American people in honor of Black History Month, like Steve Harvey and the Godfather, former WWE superstar. Come get on the whole train. And the Bodyguard Virgil and Lawrence Taylor and Andre Tippett and Kevin Garnett and Doc Rivers and Bill Russell and Jackie Robinson, Frank Robinson, Willie Mays, and a whole bunch of others. And sooner or later, Julie Broughton and Heidi Pratt video blogs are coming. 2 cute blondes with a nice smile and great legs. Good night. See you tomorrow.